Good day, Mr. Mars. So, funny thing, I was trying to figure out which readings I had to do today because I go into it sort of like vibrationally, like who am I aligning with at this time? Because you can't do everybody's reading at any time. Like, I can't do a love reading when I'm feeling like love. You know what I mean? So, I was going through my inbox and your message popped up, and I was like, this is where I need to be, right? And so I don't look at anybody's chart or listen to any voice notes that have to do with this session until I'm right about to tap into it. So I just got to listen to your voice note, and I was like, that's why I'm here. We are both fed up with this allure of good things to come without the key factors for how the hell we're supposed to get there. Like, give me my money. It's my money and I want it now. It's really the energy here. So I actually went and I put the info in your chart, right? Only for business and financial stuff. Because we have gone around the loop with dear Emily and other people you cannot control, right? But self we can control, and then there is some sort of magnetic pull that comes along with that. So you will decide what you want to do with her after you have stepped into the position that you desire in your career. I find it interesting that your Saturn is actually ruling your chart. So right next to your abundance, like you're supposed to have money, like we're definitely right on that. But how? Where is it coming from? That is why I added the business asteroids here, because I too would like to unlock your vault. So you having your sun in eighth in itself is you having a whole vault. It's your money in your vault. In a way, it feels like you agreed to split it with a partner. But then your North Node was like, because something about that didn't go right a different time. So, with that being said, your Venus is at the same degree as your North Node. And I think that's what I was feeling as far as once you step into the energy of what you want in your business or you're flowing in that, then she'll come back around, but then you'll have to think how you feel about that. Maybe she doesn't know you have money and she pops back up, then that'd be great. But if she only pops up because like suddenly you're the success that you always knew you would be, I wouldn't go with it. So there are so many parts of your chart that are all like, and let me show you so you can see. You see that little area where everything is just pointed to that section? When stuff is at the top of your chart, it's stuff that has to do with the external world. Everything at the bottom is your internal world. The main factor that you have at the bottom part is getting to your money. That's what your North Node in the second house is. Learning your own value, your own self worth. So, what would unbind the Saturn? I'm actually going to go to your Saturn persona chart for this one. So, each part of your chart has a different storyline, right? Like their own natal chart for that particular planet so you know what happened there. We need to know what the terms and conditions of this Saturn are because you have definitely spun the block on it. You're not going to be waiting around to the second one, as you said, to get this accomplished. So, according to your Saturn persona chart, there are things you need to speak about. And honestly, the story you told me about your friend at the end of that note, that's kind of serious that you were able to tell her that. And I think maybe you aren't looking at your gifts as anything marketable, like they're just you, not something that you plan to share. But in your Saturn persona chart, remember your North Node is in the second house in your regular one, right? That's you getting to your money, getting to your worth. In the contract is you going out into the 11th house. Hold on, let me get that right. It's you connecting with the people as yourself, despite the fact that you originally kept a lot of this stuff to yourself at home. I never would have guessed that your chart was forcing you to be an extrovert in any way, shape, or form. But literally, this Saturn chart, you have a lot of things at the first degree. That's you stepping into yourself for the first time. Because remember, in your regular chart, a whole bunch of stuff says that you have committed to a connection lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and y'all are like this. Even kind of to the point where she can't function properly without you. But the people in a Romeo and Juliet way try to keep you guys apart. So when you don't have her, you still feel a little like, what the hell? The advantage is you were always sort of the stronger party in the relationship. So not to be a douche or anything, but she always needed you more than you needed her. It's like you wanted her. You loved being around her. You loved everything about her. But for her not to crumble into a melty mess of a person that just like wallows over and over again, you were her structure, you were her strength. In this life, in this Saturn, should I say, what is the wound that you have? Having a twin, having a partner, having unconscious knowledge of that person at any given time. That's some shit, huh? Because the turning point in this chart is self. Like you made a decision towards self, and you're like, that's not what the fuck I would do. But, I wonder if we give you 2 more years of waiting on her, would you still feel like that? Because in that time, your gold is meant to be triggered. Your ability to shift stuff into gold. And I feel it with this Gemini rising at the Aquarius degree, it feels like you're supposed to speak some of the things you spoke over your friend over other people. Like you have a gift that you weren't even using it. You have Mars, which ironically is the name you go by on here, right? And then you have Jupiter in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of authority, of fame, of reputation. There is something just about you being your own brand, speaking your mind and who you are, that helps other people. People need to hear your thoughts. They need your tough love, in a way, is what I'm getting here. Because all your luck and all your good stuff is like wrapped up in you. Have you been gatekeeping you from other people? That's definitely what this feels like. Like your abundance and your wealth, you have been hoarding at home. And they're bloodline gifts. It looks like they came from your mother's side. Now, don't get me wrong. You were still going to be Big Daddy in your relationship. That's what this Capricorn in the 7th is. Like that connection is still going to come back around in some way, shape, or form. I can't promise Emily. Because, right? I can promise her soul in a different body if she continues to wallow in the darkness. There comes a point where somebody taps out, right? Their body will continue in NPC mode, but their soul will like go off somewhere, right? If that happens with her, if she abandons that body, that life, then she will come to you in another form and you'll know it's her. The thing is going to be if you want to accept her in a different body or another person, but you will absolutely recognize that it's her. Then you got to take a moment like, shit, it got so bad that she like tapped out. It sadly happens quite often. So the transformation and your ideas about what you are capable of and what is worth being shared amongst people. Now I need to know, what is the block to your wealth? I'm going to pull for this in these cards, and then we're going to look at your solar return, because I feel like this year is going to be pivotal in moving towards that. And the solar return is the energetic overlay that you are going to wear for this year. So what is the block between Mars and his money? Do you not like people? Every time I'm doing this, like it sort of feels like you don't want to deal with the people that you're meant to be dealing with. I think you're supposed to be out here in the world. Like, yeah, all of this says there's some healing that needs to be done from your childhood. Like, there are a bunch of people around you, maybe possibly addicts, just people who took your kindness and your intelligence for granted. And you learned very early, or you adapted very early, a mindset that made you look at people like, that's what I'm feeling. But those people that you look like are the people that you're supposed to be helping. Like, there are some who will take your advice and won't just drain you of your energy, is what I'm getting here. Your perception on the people that you're supposed to help makes you not even want to go that route. But it's like, patience needed. You hate that. Like, why the fuck do I need more patience? But because you need to learn not to hate people sort of kind of again. Like, people that betrayed you, they have like miscounted you. It gives me a very underdog energy. Like, nobody knew who you were. Like, not even you. Like, you felt it in there, but like, this is networking energy. I said it was something with tech or possibly trading, right? That would come after the initial thing that you did. They got you money. It's like you'd have enough money to play around with. And that's when you would get into stocks and trading and Bitcoin and stuff. You'd realize that you had an affinity for flipping your money. That's also your 8th house sun, by the way. You're kind of a philosopher, if I'm going to be completely honest. Based on this chart, you are a philosopher, a guru, somebody who imparts higher education or wisdom on other people. How do you feel about being a beacon of hope and intelligence for other men? As I was saying it, I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to hate this? Because that's kind of what it feels like. Like, imagine, this is such a cruel way to put this, that most of the other guys, especially those going through the loneliness epidemic and stuff, are going through it because they don't know how to be a spouse or to relate in a relationship or to think in their feminine energy without it being toxic. Somehow that has not scarred you. You don't have a deep hatred towards women or anything like that. You're just waiting for the opportunity to have a good relationship because you've been sitting there waiting like a proper good person who's going to be a great husband. Could you imagine talking to other guys about that? That's sort of what it seems like, even in your solar return. So the 3rd house is the 3rd house of communications. Look where your sun is. Communications, media, still at that 19th degree, right? Talking about relationships, imparting relationship knowledge. This year is actually a good year for you money-wise. Where you're starting to find your value through communication. This is 1000% about you talking and sharing your healing knowledge with others. Maybe not in a one-on-one setting, because that would it might trigger some of the stuff that you feel about people and the way that they dig themselves in their own graves. That's what it feels like. It makes you not want to deal with them. Like, you can give them advice all day, but they keep going in circles and you feel like it's a waste of energy and you don't like to do anything that is a waste, right? If you were to do it in a broader sense, you would never know who took the advice and not. You wouldn't be attached to it. But you would recognize oh, there's some people popping up in here. The numbers are growing. Oh, this must be working. That's what I see here for this solar return. You're supposed to be stepping out of your box and into your money. The Saturn for this year is at the same degree as your abundance, right? No matter what you do, your money is being held up because it comes to you when you make the change that brings you outside of your box and allows you to share your unique genius with others, whatever that is. You could be Joe Rogan for all we know. And I hope you don't hate him. But that's the general idea of what I'm feeling here. Somebody who talks and shares their feelings about the state of the world, their thoughts, what you have discovered. And that is what makes the big change. I don't think you realize how intelligent or how much people love to hear you speak. You impart wisdom that makes other people feel smarter. Wow, didn't think of it that way. But now that I have the ability to think of it this way, and then you open their mind to something else. There's a big change coming in your career this year as well. That's what that Uranus in this 10th house is. You see how my screen just flipped like that? That's how your career is going to flip. Right? That's the full energy. You jumping out on an idea to start a new business, because your enterprise is also at a 0th degree enterprise. Something that has you in isolation, something that has you at home, that starts to lead you down a whole new path. You are going to go from working for somebody else on a day-to-day basis, and I don't want to say earning income passively, but it sort of feels like it. It's like you have the luck of those who came before you that didn't cash in their luck cards, if that makes sense. If you had some ancestors or some relatives that were supposed to get a lottery payout or inheritance they got stole, all of that's going to be coming back through you. And the wound that you have to get over is not recognizing all of this good stuff about you that other people can benefit from, in a way that doesn't upset you, that other people are going to be benefiting from your knowledge at the same time. I think you more so get upset when somebody doesn't listen to you, and you grew up around a lot of people who didn't listen to you and made you feel like you weren't saying the right thing, and that's not the case. You're being asked to try again, to try to share your mind, to try, the part of you that's helpful is where it's supposed to be. Other people not listening is not your problem or your fault. You speak it, you know you're speaking the truth, and then you go on from there. I'm like, how does that make him his money? Because it loosens up the energetic block that is keeping you from your abundance in the first place. Other opportunities are going to come up just because you started speaking your truth and allowing yourself to be seen. So this could be, you start a podcast, right? And the money that you get that is coming in is not even from necessarily the podcast or whatever you decide to write, vlog, right? But just you doing it could bring in a job offer that's like 6 figures or more from somewhere else because you started releasing the energy somewhere else. Like all those pent up thoughts aren't meant just to be pent up in your head. They're meant to be shared. And then when you get this job that's 6 figures, then suddenly you'll be able to take that money and flip it until the podcast or whatever you want to do with your words becomes big enough for you to sustain yourself off of that alone. But that passive income seed is being planted this year. And the new job and the new money is absolutely coming in. But it's all hinged on speaking. So let's see what parts of self are going to help unlock your vault. What parts of self does he need to reveal to others or open up in order for him to lock into his wealth? Because your Saturn literally has been holding your money back the whole time. You're not broke. You're not supposed to be. You're actually quite wealthy. And I'm tripping because I already saw this on the bottom. That's Sag energy. That's that 9th house energy. That's you saying what's on your mind, what you have experienced, what shows up. But sharing information that prevents you from being victimized or other people from being victimized. It's like putting them up on game. Didn't I say speaking, teaching, leading? Humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to life learning. This will possibly you learning how you would structure your speaking business, if you will. Because you might not be a podcast dude. Maybe you want to write stuff out, but maybe then you need to take a creative writing class for that. But you need to fill in the gap. And I think that's what you were asking in your thing. How do I fill in the gap to funnel to me? Then I felt like it was something that had to do with relationships. Because like you are like a relationship guru. It doesn't matter what you've been through in this life or any of that stuff, right? Because every other lifetime, this has been you. You have been Dracula, but like Dracula saving lives. Like being a mate that knows how to seduce and care without there being a particular agenda. Although sometimes you can be a bit controlling, but it's because you provide everything and you just want the best for people. So it's not you trying to be controlling out of you being an asshole and you want things this way. It's just, you know, when something goes wrong, you're the one that has to clean it up. Across to bear. So sneaky there, healer. You are supposed to be speaking things over other people that liberate them from their lack mindsets, their caged mindsets, particularly around relationships and self-love. Doing this in any way, shape, or form will open up the financial funnel for other things. It doesn't even have to be through this off top that you're going to be making money. But your words, you interacting with people is the key here. Like you going to a party when you're invited, you going to a gala, you going to somewhere where you can. My mind was like, laugh it up with the hoity-toity people, with the, what are they called? I didn't want to say snobs, but like networking, talking to other people, allowing them to recognize that you're a leader and look up to you starts to open the doors for you. Other people need to know the eloquence that you expressed in that voice note to me needs to be expressed to other people. Bottom line, you're a dude's dude. And by that, I mean like horrible example I'm about to use, but you'll get it. You know how in the Stepford Wives, there was a husband that all the other husbands looked up to? That's kind of the energy you give off. And if you were to have a platform or you were to step out amongst other men, you would begin to recognize how they gravitate towards you in the way that you seem to understand women and their issues and how you can help them improve their lives and relationships just through being around you. Then the next thing you know, you're getting invites everywhere. It feels like part of that's what you hate as well. How many times people like need you or want you around for your intelligence when you're like, y'all, just get your own. Put a price on it. Put a price on your time. In your head, what do you want to earn? Even today, this is new moon energy. You get to plant new seeds in your sign, right? Uh, write down what you want. And I'm saying your sign because of that 19th degree. Write down what you want for your life. That income, I even think that six-figure thing I said is like realistic. Like that ass. You can start doing this and networking with people, and then you'll end up coming across somebody who's like, you know what job do you do? I have a position for you in my company. All that tech and all that other stuff has to do with you spreading your magic through words. Open up the pathways that you originally shut down for yourself because you were afraid of vampires. You know how to kill a vampire now. And technically, you've been self-sustaining all this time. So imagine that you were a former vampire in another life, right? In this lifetime, you never like succubus anybody. I know that's two different genres, but that's the general energy of what I'm feeling here. In this life, you became a self-sustaining vampire. So you can go amongst the other ones and they're like, how is he doing this without a female to feed off of? Like they're looking up to you. And soul-wise, that's kind of what they're looking up to. Like, how did you learn to self-sustain and become this person without the feminine energy? How did you cultivate your own understanding of the feminine energy without hating them as so many men do? So this was very interesting. I can't wait for your feedback. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this, having to get to people, having to talk to them, having a network, go to brunches. I'm picturing you at the golf court, is it a golf court? Golf course. Whatever. Those cigar lounges and stuff, like that's where I'm picturing you going. Like you're getting invited places and it's sort of like a hangover night, but it's not a hangover night. It's just like you start off at a party and then you get invited to the after party and the next thing you know, you're on a yacht and like it's going to go fast for you. But you have to say, I accept.